It all started with a note taped to my boat. My name is Travis Dalton, and for nearly 20 years I lived quietly on my inherited land, 50 acres of forest, tall grass, and a wide blue lake that curled around the southern edge like nature's moat. The lake had been ours since the 1920s, passed down through generations. It was family. I learned to fish there with my grandfather, standing barefoot on his old dock, and every inch of shoreline held a memory. So when I found a note pinned to my pontoon boat, flapping in the breeze like a warning flag, I knew trouble was coming. The words were written in bold, angry letters. This boat is in violation of HOA guidelines. Remove immediately. No name. No signature. Just the seal of the Cedar Ridge Homeowners Association stamped at the bottom like a threat. At first, I laughed. I wasn't in Cedar Ridge. I wasn't part of their HOA. Their nearest subdivision sat half a mile away, beyond my tree line. Sure, some of their houses touched the lake, but my land wasn't theirs. My lake wasn't theirs. Or so I thought till the second letter arrived. This one came by certified mail, claiming my boat violated Article 4, Section B of the Cedar Ridge HOA Covenant. It ordered me to remove it within 7 days or face fines of $100 per day, plus towing fees. Attached was a survey map one they had filed years earlier, showing the lake as part of their community recreation area. They had quietly drawn my water into their subdivision expansion plan. Suddenly, what had been private for nearly a century, they now claimed as their own. I didn't have to imagine what came next. I saw it with my own eyes. Their so-called fishing club rolled in like they owned the place. A floating dock appeared just yards from mine. A storage shed was dragged in on pontoons. They hammered fishing line holders into my trees. Strangers set up lawn chairs on my shoreline, coolers full of beer, lines in the water, waving at no one. One Sunday morning, I stepped onto my deck and found 3 men drinking on my property like it was theirs. That was it. That was the moment I knew I had to fight. They thought I was just some old man with a boat. What they didn't know was that I kept everything paperwork, maps, deeds, water rights filings. My grandfather taught me to guard what was ours. For 2 nights, I dug through his dusty office, flipping through fragile pages, yellowed surveys, and brittle county records. And then I found it. A parchment from 1937, notarized, declaring the entire lake and shoreline a private reservoir owned by the Dalton estate. Even better, in 1982, my father had filed a reaffirmation with the state, securing water rights under our family's name. That was the hammer. That was the proof. The next morning, I hired a real estate attorney and filed a cease and desist with the county clerk. But I wasn't stopping at defense. No, I wanted them gone for good. I built a plan to evict the entire HOA from my lake, legally and painfully. Because once I proved ownership, every dock, every shed, every sign they installed was unlawful encroachment. And in my state, that opened the door to a lawsuit with teeth. Within days, I had temporary fencing along the waterline. Bright red, no trespassing signs every 20 feet. Motion cameras in the trees. The reaction was explosive. The HOA president, Linda Wexler, came stomping down my lawn, clipboard in hand, barking about community lake privileges. I stood on my porch with arms crossed and didn't say a word. I didn't need to. My attorney was already preparing a lawsuit thick enough to choke their clubhouse. 3 days later, we served Cedar Ridge HOA with charges of willful trespass, unlawful construction, attempted seizure of private land, and damages. The fallout was instant. Their next meeting erupted in chaos. Homeowners who had bought lakeside properties under the promise of lake access were furious. Their agents had sold them a dream the HOA didn't own. Overnight, my lake went from their prized selling point to their biggest liability. Property values fell. Fingers pointed. Residents turned on their board. Then came the strike they never saw coming. I filed for emergency removal of all unauthorized structures. The county approved. One cloudy Tuesday, bulldozers rolled in under sheriff's orders. They tore out the floating dock, hauled away the shed, yanked every cooler, chair, and rot holder off my land. It was brutal, final, and beautiful. To top it off, the county fined the HOA for illegal dumping and environmental violations from the concrete anchors they had sunk into my water. By the end of the month, the fishing club was dead. Their members were furious. Some threatened to sue their own board for lying to them. Cedar Ridge fractured from the inside. Meanwhile, I bought myself a bigger boat. Now, every weekend, I cruise the lake with a smile, watching the empty patches of shoreline where their barbecues used to be. Their laughter is gone, their arrogance is gone, and the only sound left is the hum of my engine on water they will never touch again. They told me to move my boat. Instead, I moved their entire presence. And just to seal the victory, I planted a 12-foot sign at their old entrance. In bold letters, it reads, "Private property trespassers will be prosecuted." And beneath it, a smaller plaque, "Cedar Ridge Fishing Club, evicted by owner, 2025. Funny thing about Tideswin, you truly own the water. You decide which way they turn.